I ran the same SEO audit prompt system in 4 different AI tools. I ran it through Manus, Claude, ChatGPT, and Gemini/NotebookLM. By the end of this guide, you'll have 3 documents generated: a full audit report as a PDF, a slide deck for presenting this to a team or a client, and then an Excel spreadsheet workbook with all of your SEO improvements that you need to tick off. Finally, at the end, I'll show you what I like to do to create an even better workbook for your issues at the end. Here's the first step. We're going to start the first audit to get the PDF. So copy and paste this prompt, put in your website URL here, and go to work. Pro tip, I ran this in Claude twice, once with that prompt, and then first time I did it with this basic prompt that said do a thorough SEO audit, and I got, I think, a better report in just Claude. So take that for what you will. Sometimes going simple is better, but at the end of the day, the full prompt in Claude is formatted and presented way better. It's just not as long and detailed, so you may want to put your page count in here. And then making sure they both have terminal access can also help. In Claude, like I have the PowerPoint generator skill enabled, stuff like that. You probably already have a lot of these. All that is to say, I think Manus did the best with as little configuration as possible. Now, finally, here's a pro tip on this initial step. Make sure you ask the AI to list the tools it used and the data sources to pull together that report. This will let you know if you missed something, if you need to enable those skills. And in fact, even up front, you should probably just add in your prompt to cite the data sources in the report. Okay, next step is a slide deck. I've got this prompt here for you, telling it to turn it into a 10-page slide deck. Like I said, make sure you have that slide deck tool in Claude or ChatGPT. That'll make your life a lot easier. And in NotebookLM, which is the Gemini one I ran, you can just click slide deck here when it's done. Don't think the report we got from NotebookLM was my favorite. If I had to rank, I would probably go Manus, Claude, GPT, NotebookLM. And there's that Claude slide deck. And the final step is to make that workbook for you to use in Excel. It'll look like this. It'll list all the issues that the agent found. It'll link to the page and it'll prioritize it and also give you how to fix each of these. So that's a pretty simple prompt. Go ahead and put this in. Just tell it to create the workbook with these columns: issue, category, priority, how to fix an affected page URL. Now with tools like ChatGPT and Claude, they can only create one CSV at a time, but in Manus, you can make tabbed workbooks. Of course, Claude has, as it says here, that Excel plugin. So you could take this CSV, put it in Excel, and then have Claude make it prettier. All the tools are going to be probably similarly skilled at doing this. So if I were to rate all of these audits really quickly, and I used to work in SEO, so I know a little bit, I would rate them Manus, Claude, ChatGPT, NotebookLM. On configuration, Manus did really well with almost no configuration. Like I said, Claude and ChatGPT, you need to have PowerPoint skills installed, maybe a CSV skill. You need to have that Chrome extension so they can browse and use it to look up metrics like domain ratings. Sometimes it'll do it. Sometimes you need to prompt it and say, go pull keyword data and domain rating data, and it'll do that. Of course, if you pay for something like SE ranking or Hrefs, you can connect them to a lot of these tools and just let them run reports for you. And then NotebookLM can't really browse or like code, so I would say that was probably the worst tool for the job. And I tried it in Gemini too and got similar results. Asking for that data source check is really important so you can make sure they're not hallucinating. I had a few, like in Claude and Gemini and ChatGPT actually, that said, oh, something's wrong with your sitemap and your robots.txt. And that's because Shopify actually blocks AI agents by default. But Manus actually was able to find them. So I was really impressed there because they're supposed to be blocked. And then on cost, this task took 670 credits on Manus. That's almost a fourth of the basic plan. So that's like a $5 task maybe. Whereas Claude and ChatGPT, it's going to go towards your monthly limit, and same with NotebookLM. So those are the pros and cons of each. I hope that was helpful because I know I've been making a lot of Manus content lately. So I wanted to show you kind of that compared to everything else. I think you can get this done in Claude and ChatGPT, probably not Gemini right now. And then to go further, once you're done, I would tell whatever app you're in to go ahead and create a skill on the process you just did, so that you just need to drop in a website URL and it'll do that whole flow for you. And I would ask it to break the tasks out into separate CSVs so that each section of that report is its own CSV. This is just going to help you make a way more useful workbook for your team or your client. So there's an executive summary tab in that spreadsheet, a technical SEO task list, content task list. It just organizes. I think it's easier and more approachable that way. So that's it. 3 prompts, 3 documents, 4 different AI tools we tested it on. Let me know if this was useful and if you ran this on your site. I'm Billy from the Rundown AI University. Stay frosty and peace.